No Picnics in the Dungeon is a rules-light story-focused dungeon-crawling TTRPG focused on getting you into fights quickly and often. Built in the Powered by the Apocalypse 2d6 system, but with an old-school design ethos, No Picnics in the Dungeon blends classic and modern styles to be the best of both worlds. It's inspired by Dungeon Meshi, and it was pretty successful at UKGE, so it is finally up on itch.io. There is a link in the description of the podcast. Give it a look if you enjoy the podcast. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to Game Soup. It's a game design podcast where we throw ideas in a pot and see what's cooking. I'm Chloe Montgomery and I'm joined by your birthday girl's birthday girl,
Kayla Dies! The way before this recording, you're like, who are you this week? And then you paused thoughtfully, and I was so ready to be hit.
trying to be nice.
Yeah. I think I've done this on the air, so I can't remember, but if I haven't done this on the air, I'm a very obnoxious birthday girl, and often will just really ramp
You
up.
did it last week's episode, yes.
Yeah, well, probably not last week's, the ones before, because we've done the live in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always like that. And the very funny thing is I called my mum on my birthday at the con, because her birthday is only a few days before mine. And when I was saying, like, yeah, I might go shopping, but I don't know if I will. I don't know if I've made enough money. I might feel a bit awkward about spending money. And my mum was instantly just like, well, Kayla, you got to. It's your birthday week. And I was like, you're where I got this from. I'm the consequences of your parenting.
So we can blame your mum.
Yeah. I think it's important that we just make sure we keep blaming anyone other than me.
Yeah, and then we'd have to self-reflect if we blamed ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine for other people blaming themselves, just not when blaming me.
Yeah.
We're both so tired today, aren't we?
Yeah, we're kind of still on the come down from Gexpo. I had work yesterday after driving 6 hours home, so I'm still kind of frazzled.
I did a tiny bit of work yesterday, not as much as actually, no, I didn't. Yesterday was my birthday. I didn't do any work. I did a bit of work and tidying up on Monday. I was sort of assuming I'd do a more sort of back to work thing today, but I get the feeling this might be another rest day.
Well, podcasting counts as work.
Yeah, it's true. It will be a half rest day. I'll do a bit of podcasting and maybe I'll do some posting about Psychodunge.
Yeah.
What is your highlight of the con?
My highlight of the con, other than Game Soup Live, which is on the feed now, I suppose, probably. I don't know, just like getting to see people in person. It's just, I never get to see any of the tabletop friends that I have because we live so far away. It feels a bit of a separate world at times, but oh well.
Yeah, no, it's nice to interact and be reminded people are alive and in the world.
Yeah. It's certainly put a lot of fire into Alyssa to do more game design stuff. Yeah.
I both always have... This is the thing, cons simultaneously fill me with that desire and also often give me this weird thing where I convince myself I'm like 3 weeks away from quitting. And I never am. I'm just always like, yeah, you gotta enjoy me while I'm here. I won't be around long. And I'm always lying. I'm always full of shit.
I hate to see you go.
You do love to watch me leave. I Also, yeah, I always get very excited about doing more cons, even though I am so wiped still. Like, I do hope I feel more better tomorrow, otherwise I'm like, this took out most of my week. Which is not ideal, but
No.
it happens.
I mean, you diagnosed me with some other thing, so that was fun. And now I'm just blaming everything on that. Yeah, what was your highlight of the con then?
I think I also enjoyed the fact of, lots of socializing, and getting to meet and talk to more people. I feel like I was very, not necessarily always in a super visible way, but I know I was, for myself, very mood swingy at this con. But when the swings were up, it felt very good, and I felt very encouraged by lots of people. I was trying to think of other things I did, because I didn't play games at this con, which I always in my mind, I'm like, I should start doing that more. Game Soup Live was, super fun. That was a blast. It was really nice how many people came up to the stand I was on, saying that they backed Psycho Dungeon, and I guess I'd listened to the last update saying, like, come find me at UKGE, and then I would often give those people other games and things. But that was just really cool. Exhausted by it all.
Yeah.
It's annoying because I feel I handled my energy better this year than I did last year, but I feel more tired.
I felt tired throughout the entire con, I'm not going to lie. I feel like I spent most of the time on the stalls sitting down. So, in the future, I would like it to have our stalls where we don't have to stand up. Because the Indie League stall has lots of shelves that raise up. So you can't see over the table. So you need to sit up.
I always get sort of have difficult things with sitting and standing because I'm like, it is easier to sell people things when you are standing.
Yeah.
It's just like, and I'm always like, can I find a solution to get this effect without standing? My main way I'd do that as a teacher would always be I'd sit on tables, but you can't really, that's losing so much table space just to be like someone sitting cross-legged on a table.
The fat ass zone of the table.
As much as I feel like it would be a weird and maybe charming enough approach it would win, I'd lose like half the table, which is most of the cost of a thing.
We'll see. What you've got to do is put the table back into the space where you would sit, and then have an extra table at the front, dedicated solely to sitting on. Because if you, I don't know if you saw Anna Blackwell's table, but they had like quite a long space, but they had two tables, one at like the normal position where you could sit behind it, and then another one pushed back, so you could actually come into the stall space.
Yeah. I've seen a few things do that, like sort of concave thing, which seems better for chatting, but also does make I remember I used to have like a tall stool, like a sort of pub stool, and part of me is like, is there an advantage to that? But also they're not super comfortable. That's,
there was a couple of like artists who either they'd come together to do a big stall or something, but like they'd made little alleyways where like you go into the little alleyway, like so you got the normal corridor, and then like imagine a second corridor that goes into the stall space, but they'd built their stalls around this little alleyway, and like the center of it that you'd walk in was technically their stall space, but
oh, nice, that's cool. I think I'm visualizing that right. What did you get from UKGE?
Oh, well, I posted a picture on Twitter, but what didn't I get, for Christ's sake? I'm looking at my big pile now. Let's have a look. I'm wheeling my chair out. I've got Dragonbane, which is a big box game from Free League. I don't know if you can still hear me. I'm kind of away from the mic now. What have I got? I'm just going to grab a pile of zines here. I've got a game called Summit, which seems to be Celeste, but a TTRPG, so that's cool. from Daniel Copper. I've got... What have I got here? Geno Funk, which just seemed to appear on the table, but now we have it. And it has a name on the front here, but it's written in friggin' Assy leet speak, and I can't read it. So, good job, guys. Fishbone Archipelago, which I think I swapped a game for.
Oh.
I think that was on the tin stand. Paint the Town Red. Don't know if you've heard of that.
I heard the editor of that is very hot.
Yeah, it's been said. Yeah, we got a Best Left Buried, which looks like one of the heaviest books I've ever seen. Got a couple of minis, got some fancy spin downs. We were talking about all the stickers I got before we recorded. Too much stuff, really, but we made it back on the table, so yeah, can't be mad.
Nice.
What did you get, Kate?
I also posted a picture on Twitter. In my mind, I keep thinking, I'll do a TikTok, and if I have the energy tomorrow, I'll do one. If I don't, I'm never going to do one, because I'd feel weird doing one on, like, Monday, a week after the con.
Yeah, I always forget to do them. That's why we did it in the hotel immediately after the con.
That's smart. It's also a thing where, like... So, because I'm going to read all of the things I got at Gexpo. And part of the way of making sure I do read them all is I don't put them away until I've done that. So, before they need to find a place. What did I got? I got No Picnics in the Dungeon. That looks really cool.
Whoa, now available on biscuitfund.io. Link in the downstairs, I guess.
I got The Streets Will Run Red from X-Stasis, which I gave a read through, and that was really cool. Got a Cut Up Catacombs off of the tin stand by Tori, and that's like got lots of fun stuff in. I swapped something called Trickster's Net with one of the writers of that. I can't remember, what did I swap that for? I'm not trying to remember. It may have been Dreamtlands. Because, I bought Dead Letter Society, which I'm excited to read. And I also bought Orbital from Mousehole Press, so that's fun. I got my contributor's copy of Death Game at UKGE,
nice.
Which is also that. When I was doing my last shopping, I think I dragged you on for part of it and then dragged Alyssa on for the rest. There's quite a few times where I was like, could I get this? And people would be like, yeah, you can't give me any money for it though, Kayla. And I'm like, can I at least try? Yeah. No. And to be fair, I was always like, oh, you drive a hard bargain. But then when I walked away, I was like, actually, I'm really glad how many people generously gave me things for free. Because the morning of the last day of Gexpo, my card declined buying an energy drink.
Jesus.
It was just bad timing. Like last year, where Gexpo's weekend fell, I very much was like, I would have been paid by UC by that time. I wasn't on UC at that time, I had a job. But like, this year, it just means like, it was right before it ends, and the UC's coming like today. So it's all...
Yeah, the first day of Gexpo was my payday, so I did spend about half my paycheck on bagels.
The bagel stand that does not sell butter or have any butter on stand. I think UK Games Expo, I'll throw it out there, is the hardest con to eat at.
Yeah.
I think it's far easier to find easy, slightly affordable, or at least more option ways that aren't queuing for ages to eat around dragon meat.
Yeah.
Gen Con was like, also overpriced in the same way like stuff is, but also there were just flat out more options. I will say. I
wish that they have a load of food stands, like food trucks at Dragon Meat, but it's like a 15-minute walk away from the con hall. If they were right outside the front door, that would be perfect.
Yeah, I remember, because I think on the last day I was like, why don't I do that? And then I was like, wait, no, that's a massive walk. And I already, like,
Yeah, I'm already exhausted. I don't want to
had
spend
a
half an hour just walking.
Yeah. Also, in that time, it's like I only had like an hour lunch break, so it's like that's a walk there. There'll probably be a bit less of a queue at the food trucks in the day compared to
Evening,
other
yeah.
times. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other cons I've gone to, what about their food options? And I guess I don't have much comparison. I'm going to be at Norwich Game Con at the end of August, if you're in that area. I am tentatively, I'll definitely have this figured out by the time this episode comes up, but tentatively I'm doing a live This Is Your Life Path interview with someone. I won't say
A
any name or
mystery,
stuff.
someone.
Yeah, and I'll have
Anyone I know?
copies of...
Who knows?
Maybe.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery, yeah. It's a mystery to you. I also will have all of my games, and I need to check which boxes are under my bed, but maybe I'll bring some Levantes and Tournament Arcs and sell them to the public for
Nice.
U2s. But like that'll be fun. That's an all day one, which I also do feel sometimes are just easier food wise. But yeah, it's just also like if you only ate a dragon meat inside of the Novotel, I'd probably be like, yeah, it's really difficult. But it's easier to go out to Hammersmith, whereas like where the Birmingham NEC is, like you can't really leave the area
without going to the train station.
Yeah.
I don't know, the bagel factory was good, but I understand as a picky eater it might be difficult to get stuff there.
Yeah, I'm aware that this complaint, in terms of like, wow, how few options are there, you do need to, I guess, remember that I am me, and that is often a problem.
So, we're far too long into this episode to not have made a game. So I did some attack podcasting at Gexpo.
Yeah, the return of it.
I run around to stalls, I record people, get them to do a little plug, and then give us a word. So we'll probably be doing that for this episode and probably the next couple. We'll see.
See how it goes.
Yeah, so I've sent you some files. We'll play them here as we listen to them. Let's go with the one on the top.
Okay, I will listen to that on my end as well.
We're live at UKGE 2024. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Eryk.
Hi. Who are you working for today?
I'm here on the Storm Puppet stand.
Lovely. And can you give me a random word, please?
Random word. Sausage.
Thank you very much.
We have sausage again.
Which I'm sure Eryk did propose at Dragon Meat as well.
The man has sausage on the mind.
The file, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even sure because we made the weird game sausage. And then we have our next one on the bottom.
Yeah.
We're live at UKGE 2024. Please introduce yourself and why you're here.
I'm Ella from Crit Happens Dice, and we are here to bring D&D stuff to all the nerds.
Fabulous. And can you give me a random word, please?
Toadstool.
Toadstool. Wonderful.
So, toadstool and sausage.
Yeah. It's a weird mix.
Yeah. So,
See,
I feel
my mind's
toadstool
going to like a fry up, but because you get mushrooms on a fry up, but
that could propose. It's funny because you've done a game which has like a cooking element in.
yes.
And I don't eat much food. But I don't think we've actually talked about, like, cooking game on... Oh, wait, no, Did we pitch a reverse Ratatouille once? Or have I made that up?
Yes, a few episodes ago, but that was about being a mouse doctor.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever done, like, a cooking game. Do we want to just do a cooking game?
Yeah, so I think it's Cooking Mama, but somehow transcribed into a TTRPG. I think there's like dexterity challenges, like little mini games.
Yeah. I wonder... Because I feel there's like a handful of different ways of doing cooking games, in that I feel some of them are about the preparation of a singular meal,
Yeah.
and some are about managing a restaurant. And those are slightly different, because I feel in managing a restaurant or a cafe or whatever, the making of the individual food is actually easy outside of timing. And it's more about like, oh, do you do all this stuff in time, or knowing what someone wants?
I think.
Whereas I guess for an individual meal,
sort of espoused an entire game while you were talking there. I apologise. I'm just going to tell you what it is. It is a solo journaling game where you are a person running a fantasy tavern or something like that. Because I've been reading a little bit of Wandering In, it's okay, about a person running a fantasy tavern. But I think you're doing this little solo journaling game and you have a bunch of like mini games for like chopping food and like all the prep and then the actual cooking. So all the prep stuff is like little dexterity games or like stuff in the world, like how many knives can you see in your day-to-day or whatever, something silly like that. And then the actual prep is like you have to play blackjack or something, like you're trying to get it right up to the line to like boil it perfectly, but if you go too far then you've ruined it or something like that, grilling it and stuff. Like maybe there's lots of different mini games that do different preps.
Yeah, okay.
So it encourages you
fun.
to cook lots of different things, to like play all the different mini games. And then you get a score from those that tells you how good the food was. And
so like the mini games are way more about like the individual bits of like preparation, like chopping and stuff. And then it's more like the recipes are all just, and when these are combined in here, did you ever play it's a fishing game, it's called like Moonglow Bay or something?
No.
Yeah, Moonglow Bay. It was like a fishing game or stuff, and it had individual mini games for all of the different ways of preparing stuff, but also you were fishing.
Cool. So to hacker this game that I've never heard of.
Well, that's a video game. I was just like, it feels like a similar style
concept.
Also, especially because like the thing there, it kind of is virtually a solo game. Like not in a, like obviously way more video games than not are actually solo games, but like it's quite solitary for your character, even though you do have other people around you.
Yeah, and I was gonna say maybe there's like tables for generating patrons. People coming into your tavern, do they have specific tastes that they like? And then you could use this to like build up a little tavern for your fantasy RPG game.
Yeah, this is very fun. Do you have a name for this? I know we don't always do names.
The Stationary Tavern. No.
I also will say, I like the idea of if you were to then also play like have like some kind of multiplayer game that involves, multiplayer feels weird when applied to RPGs, that involves like being based out of a tavern. I do love the idea of this as like the GM playing this game while prepping like as like stuff that went on for the tavern owner between things, and also maybe like playing it alongside prepping a meal for a group coming around.
Yeah, and then maybe like you have guards coming in, or like adventurers like putting up wanted posters, or like I need this gem from the dungeon posters.
Yeah, I thought of another interesting idea, which so tangentially but not really relates to Sausage and Toadstool, but relies on us going still on this cooking game.
I just want to name that the Magic Kitchen, but there we go. Go ahead.
The Magic Kitchen. At the Magic Kitchen. Woo. Whereas, like, what's a game like? What could a game be if you're like, things were actually cooking? And then for some reason, I've now thought of something where it's like a baking game, because I like to bake, but I don't. Here's the thing: I could enjoy and could do cooking. I think a lot of people assume I wouldn't like cooking for sensory things. I just wouldn't eat any of the things I cooked. But I do enjoy baking, and I was like, well, what could that be? And then I'm like, what if this is a non-solo... This is like a regular game, but also I think there's some like semi-solo journaling stuff or like between session preps. And I think there's something about the fact that you journal as you bake items. Everyone bakes a different like set of things for like the session. Like it's always kind of like a nice big feast. And those I think you're all wizards or witches or some other kind of sorcerers. Yeah. And they represent like the powers like that like you have done or something, that you've created or workshopped spells. And then also like when you're there, like you do something with swapping food, I think there's almost like a token economy thing, which is swapping individual stacks, which is how you're swapping powers or spells or stuff.
Yeah. And I think there would be like a funny mechanic where you have to like put a bit of cookie in your mouth with a bit of ginger cake, and that mixes the spells or something.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe if eating is casting.
Yeah.
I don't think there's something there. This feels like both like a very... I feel like this game would probably be better if it did actually have like a lot of rules. Not like actually like crunchy. Obviously like the food itself could be any kind of flavor. But...
Jesus.
But I do think like there's a lot of like explanation of how whatever food stuff you're doing does translate to things to make it a game rather than just like an instruction to have dressed in costumes or something.
That could be a game.
But I think there's something fun there, like as a party game in that it's probably de facto a party that you're playing at, but not a party game in the sense that it's like just pick up and play, like you've all prepped. It's a party game in the sense of it's a dinner party game.
It makes you throw a party if you play this game.
Yeah. And so it's probably like one-shotty because like there's a lot of effort to do every time, and also maybe not good for your health as a weekly session with the amount depending on your group sizes. But I think it's actually like a lot of explanation. I think there's probably a lot of like... I think like this is actually also a huge book because I think there's outright like a recipe book in it. But the recipe book also always is like what these in-universe fucking spells are.
That's really cute. So would you like...
maybe it's not... Yeah, maybe like the between session stuff isn't a journaling thing, but like you've got a match...
fuck off recipe book.
Yeah. But, like, and it's also a thing of, like, well, you can not go from a recipe in the thing, but then you've got to find it, like, you've got to decode how the magic is sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe there's, like, a list of, like, oh, if there's spice in your cake, add this effect.
Yeah, maybe it's less even... I think there would be a recipe book component in it, because that'd be fun. But I think there's also a book which is, like, here's as many ingredients as we can think of, and linked effects, and, like... If you used your own recipe, use this table and you've got to figure out with everyone what fucking spell you've created for today's session.
That's cute. What do you call it?
I feel it has a pun. Or maybe it doesn't. But I do feel it has to emphasize baking. But also, every name I can think of which would have baking in the title sounds like it's a weed pun and not a cooking game pun.
Magic and bake.
Yeah, like wait,
Hot
like
box, open brackets. We mean the oven.
The oven, yeah.
Thank you for listening to Game Soup.
Game Soup. There's something about like cupcakes. There's something about cupcakes, but there's a pun and cup. It's something else. I'm
Cauldron
tired.
Cakes.
Cauldron Cakes. Maybe. Yeah. It's got a really cute cover.
The podcast is ended.